Welcome once again, everyone, as we conclude the remaining part of our training on digital peace building and cyber conflict. This is module 12 of this all important course, digital peace building and cyber conflict. And of course, we will just look at the last module being module 12. We have actually started this module 12 in part 4. This is part 5 of this particular training. This is part 5 and the last part of the training itself. We have discussed this last module 12, half of it already done in part 4 of this training. But of course, we will just look at the beginning of module 12 again, all over, so that we can just have some form of consistency. We discussed that module 12 of this training on digital peace building and cyber conflict talks about future trends and policy responses, and of course, it also covers digital peace building futures, emerging risk, and strategic policy responses. And the overview of module 12 is that module 12 actually explores emerging trends in cyber conflict, digital peace building, and climate related security challenges. It explains the role of technology, artificial intelligence, and innovation. It identifies future hotspots and risk and outlines policy recommendations and best practices for governments, civil society, and even practitioners. So participants like you and I will develop an understanding of how to anticipate and respond to evolving digital and environmental threats while promoting sustainable peace. Now, what are the learning objectives of module 12? By the end of this module 12, participants should be able to identify emerging risk in cyber conflict and climate related insecurity. Participants should also be able to analyze future trends in digital peace building and technology enabled interventions. Participants will also be able to understand the role of AI, big data, and innovation in conflict prevention. In addition to developing strategic policy recommendations for governments and institutions, and also participants will also be able to apply lessons learned to anticipate and mitigate future peace and security challenges. Now, let us look at climate security futures. Climate security futures, we have to be mindful of the fact that we have rising temperatures, extreme weather, and rising sea levels, which will exacerbate resource scarcity and displacement, and even conflict. And we know that vulnerable regions, especially in Africa, will face heightened migration and competition over water, land, and food. And of course, digital monitoring and predictive analysis and analytics will become critical for anticipating climate-driven conflict. Now, the example we have here is that predictive modeling of water scarcity in the Lake Chad Basin for early conflict warning. Let us look at emerging risk and hotspots. Emerging risk and emerging hotspots. Looking at global cyber risk. The global cyber risk we have, we should be talking about is state-sponsored cyber operations, AI-powered disinformation campaigns, and critical infrastructure vulnerabilities. These are the three major global cyber risks. There will be more of state-sponsored cyber operations. There will be more of AI-powered disinformation campaigns. And of course, there is going to be more of critical infrastructure vulnerabilities. Yes, that we must take note of that. And of course, we have regional hotspots. Regional hotspots in Africa, we have the Sahel and the Horn of Africa, where we have climate and extremist threats. Then we have in West Africa, we are going to have more of election-related cyber conflict. And Southeast Asia is going to have climate-induced migration and resource disputes. Now, what is the role of technology and innovation? The role of technology and innovation it's categorized into four major parts, in terms of the role of technology. The first part is artificial intelligence. Artificial intelligence is used or will be used, and which has started being used, for predicting conflict patterns, for detecting hate speech, misinformation, and even extremism. Artificial intelligence is also being used for optimizing early warning and crisis response. That is one. The second category is blockchain and secure communication. Blockchain and secure communication, under which we'll be talking about transparent and tamper-proof reporting, and even protecting of vulnerable communities. These are some of the things we need to put into. These are we can also call them technology and innovation for peace. The third aspect is category is big data and analytics. It will be used for monitoring social, environmental, and economic indicators, and of course, it will be used for informing evidence-based policy decisions. And of course, the fourth category is mobile and digital platforms. Mobile and digital platforms will be used for monitoring, for crowdsourced reporting, and also participatory peace building. And of course, it can also be used for community engagement and resilience building. These are the four major roles of technology and innovation: artificial intelligence, blockchain and secure communication, big data and analytics, and even mobile and digital platforms. Now, let us look at policy recommendations and best practices. Policy recommendations and best practices. This must be, we will look at national and regional policies. National and regional policies will have to develop integrated cyber and climate security strategies. And of course, it will also implement robust data protection and digital rights framework, and strengthen institutions for early warning and monitoring and even crisis response. And there's going to be multi-stakeholder collaboration too. Yes, multi-stakeholder collaboration will involve government, civil society, tech companies, and communities, which will be needed to coordinate and promote inclusive digital peace building strategies. And of course, the area of education and capacity building. Of course, there will be need to train youths, journalists, and local leaders in digital literacy and resilience. Of course, this will incorporate peace technology into formal and non-formal education. And the fourth aspect is technology governance and ethics. Ethical AI, responsible data use, and even algorithmic transparency. And of course, there will be the respect for human rights while deploying digital intervention. These are policy recommendations and best practices. And of course, there'll still be the need for continuous monitoring and evaluation. Track emerging threats and even adapt strategies. And of course, use metrics to evaluate effectiveness and the impact. Then let us look at this aspect here that involve integrating climate, cyber, and digital peace building. When you integrate climate, cyber, and digital peace building, it will involve combining environmental monitoring with digital warning systems. Using AI and predictive analytics to anticipate conflict triggers, and of course, building community resilience through participatory and tech-enabled interventions. An example is when you integrate GIS, Global Information System, and satellite imagery, and even community reporting to prevent farmer-herder conflicts in Nigeria. Yes, we'll look at that time when there will be need to integrate GIS, satellite imagery, and community reporting to prevent farmer-herder conflicts in Nigeria. And we still have some discussion questions that we will need to look at as far as this particular module 12 is concerned, and that will be discussed, or you can raise that at the comment section of this particular training. The first discussion question is: how will climate change and digital technology shape future conflict dynamics? And of course, we'll look at what emerging technologies are most promising for peace building. The third question is: how can policy frameworks, keep pace with rapidly evolving digital threats? These are some of the aspects that must be put into consideration. And of course, how can African countries leverage innovation for proactive digital peace building? Yes, this can be discussed. We can look at them in detail, in detail at the what do you call it? The in detail at, the comment section. Now, of course, this is the course completion note that participants who have been with us throughout this training, we want to believe that you have gained a comprehensive understanding of the digital peace building landscape, from cyber conflict analysis and climate security intersections, to practical tools, ethical considerations, and even future policy frameworks. So this concludes the digital peace building and cyber conflict course. Of course, preparing participants to implement, innovate, and influence policy and practice in Nigeria, Africa, and globally. Do not forget, once again, that we have said that this particular course comes with a certificate of participation for those of you that will or that would want to have the certificate for this particular training. You have to reach out to us on via our email, that is info@icrpcng.com. You can check out the bio. You can check out our bio to get our email address. And of course, you can also be a member of the Institute for Crisis Resolution, Peace Building, and Conciliation. You are very free to come on board, where you have a community of peace building experts and conflict resolution practitioners. And of course, it's a platform for sharing ideas, for networking, collaboration, and also for expert trainings and certifications in the area of peace building, conflict resolution, and crisis management. So you can also be a member of ICRPC, and at the same time, you can also take most of our trainings. Thank you very much. I'll see you again when during our next training on environmental conflict and climate change. Thank you and goodbye.